look. Don't you, don't you do,
Who is this?
don't you do it. Come on, baby, kick it. Come on. Don't you, look at it. We
Yeah,
got it this time, baby. Boys and
this time.
girls, little technical difficulties, but we push, we persevere, we kick out at two. And look at this. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and our very special guest tonight. And I do mean very special guest. I've been waiting on this guy for a minute. We've been trying to connect. And not only that, this is his very first interview. And we, Stirring the Pot, us, the fans, we get to hang out and get to know our new friend, Prince Ahmed. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me. It's an honor,
Oh,
honestly, for me.
yes.
Thank you.
Oh, and when I talked, when we talked at CPW, Coliseum Pro Wrestling, I did say I was going to be a little excited, almost like I was on a little cocaine.
I love it though. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't do cocaine, but I'm just amped up
I know.
because I
Thank
can
you.
be some Prince Ahmed right here. Uh,
Appreciate it.
so
Thank
all
you.
we do basically, I don't write a damn thing down. I don't research nothing. And there was something I wanted to research. We're going to get into that. And we just hit record and we
Yes,
go
sir.
off the cuff and we have a lot of fun. And we get to learn about our favorite talents that we get to see live in
Thank you,
ring.
sir.
So are you up for a little conversation with us, the fans, my
Yes,
friend?
sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's kick it off because I've got I got like 1.7 trillion questions for you, but I'm not going to ask them all because that would take up way too much time. Uh,
Have fun, dude. Whatever you want. I'm with you. Like I said,
so
I'm only doing 2 podcasts, yours and Anthony Blackwell. So whatever questions
yes,
you have, I'm with you all day. So
and I absolutely feel so. Why don't we just start right there? Because when I reached out to Prince Ahmed originally, Boys and Girls, he's like, I really don't do that thing, and I go, that's okay. If you ever feel like you want to do that thing, please reach out. And it's been a minute, and I ask him again. That's what you got to do. You can't give up. All right,
yes, sir.
boys and
Yeah.
girls, if you're doing this, no matter if it's wrestling or if you're trying to get the talent on the shows, keep digging, keep asking. One of
And
these
I
times,
actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. I actually reached out to you last year, if you remember, when I was in Egypt, because I haven't been there in a long. I was like, oh, it'd be actually cool to do a podcast while I'm, but things happened back home, so I couldn't really.
yeah.
And the internet wasn't working that good, so now we're here. Now we could do it.
uh, all transparency told, when we never when we never connected when you were in Egypt, I was telling some of the peeps around here and at the shows, I go, I was supposed to get Prince Ahmed. We were really looking forward to this, us the fans. And I go, but he was out in Egypt. I don't think they get great Wi-Fi in the
Oh,
pyramids.
we
So
don't.
that was
Oh
kind of a
man.
running joke with me. Is that the fact out there?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the system changed there since I was there. I was like, oh man, everything changed. We had to get a new router because we haven't been there. I haven't been in Egypt that was like 3 years, so everything changed, and the internet
Okay.
is limited. So you're like, there's a limited amount of gigabytes you could use, and of course, playing stupid in YouTube and all that stuff. I didn't know. I just finished my internet like twice.
So there's no Comcast. You can just say, "Hey, I need some internet connection
You
for
could go
certain
and pay
pot."
again. Yeah, you could go and pay again. I was like, all right, we'll hold on for a bit.
No, but really, boys and girls, the love that we get from some of the talent, this is very special for me personally because he doesn't really do interviews, being Prince Ahmed. And if someone as a talent is going to be picky and choosy, and they pick my platform out of the multiple, the thousands, the billions, the trillions of platforms that are out there, I feel a little bit of love in my heart because we bring on the talent that don't get the shine, if you will, that don't get to come on shows and be asked their background or be asked their backstories and such. And I didn't know if you did interviews or not. So when you said I don't really do them, I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. Some guys and girls do, some guys and girls don't. I can
Sure.
take that, and I'm not one to push. But so again, to have you on, an absolute honor and a pleasure. And
No,
I
thank you,
kind of
sir.
want to start somewhere because what struck me as a fan to you as a wrestler right off the ripper, you didn't say a word. Not that you say a whole lot. You just yell a bunch of stuff at us. But when you come through that curtain, my man, on this show, we talk about presence. We talk about character. We talk about that connection between the wrestler and the fan once they come out through that curtain, because you have to make first impressions with us if you've never been to said promotion, or if you haven't been around that area, you got to kind of make a good first impression. So the very first thing you do is connect with us, the fans. And my goodness, Prince Ahmed, boys and girls, he comes through the curtain. You can't take your eyes off of him. And I'm going to start there. Your gear is absolutely professional, eye catching, and I just can't take my damn eyes off
Oh,
you
thank you.
once you come through that curtain. So let's kind
Thanks
of
so
start
much.
there with the gear.
I'm really overwhelmed by all that stuff. I'm not used to people like putting me over like that. So thank you. Thank
Oh,
you so much. I just it feels weird. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
we like to get the shine on the gear makers, because when a guy like Prince Ahmed comes through, and not only he doesn't just have one color of gear, and we're going to get into this, there's
Yes, sir,
multiple
yeah.
versions, and I'm going to get into maybe there's meanings behind it. But please talk to us about your maker and what the presentation is and the thought behind of your gear when you come through that curtain, my man.
So at first, honestly, I didn't like really. It took me a little bit to kind of figure out like what kind of gear I want. I just was kind of putting random stuff together, and actually, my first ever kind of gear when I needed like kind of semi-professional gear. Actually, my mother made it for me. I was like
Oh
broke as
wow.
hell. Yeah, and I remember like I was supposed to wrestle Matt Striker the next day, and it was like, oh, it's a big deal for me, but like I can't walk out with a regular gear, so I went like I bought like these these pants that had like Brazil on it. And my mother was there, God bless her. She just went and started sewing stuff together and made it kind of look semi-presentable. I love that. I still have that gear with me. But
Yes.
once I got that out of the way and I went like, okay, professional gear. I didn't know like I had ideas. I liked the way Kurt Angle always looked, like the
Mhm.
same Bret Hart. Then like I saw Psychosis and I forgot it was in One Night Stand. I forgot Psychosis versus who. And I love the gear like that has the little skirt on it. I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
kind of want that with. And I was actually talking to Jacko, Jacob, one of my best friends,
Mhm.
uh, from the Faceless One, and he draws very good. And me and him were just, I just told him that on the phone call. I was like, I don't know, Jacob, I'm kind of thinking about something, blah blah blah, and maybe the Kurt Angle kind of singlet with the gold on, to the side. And like after we hung up, like half an hour, he just sent me a picture. He's like, it's got something like that. I was like, oh, that's perfect. I took it right away and just like send it. He sent it straight to him, like, which it gives a lot of shit, but it's actually they are pretty good. Ilucha. I said, I was like, hey, do you guys could you guys make this? And it was just like it's just I still have the picture with me. It was like a pencil and everything, and they made it perfect, like exactly how he drew it. I was like, oh shit.
That's
And I kept asking Jake, I was like, could you draw me something? I was like, oh no. I don't want people asking me keep doing them and stuff. But after that, I had to go to another buddy of mine from Gleason. His name is Jesse LaBoom. He does a lot of
okay.
graphic designs and I just trust him enough. I say, hey man, what do you think if he made my logos, by the way? I
Mhm.
told him, brother, like I want this kind of style, but make it more like a little bit different, but kind of the same. And he
Right.
just sent me a bunch and God bless him. The rest is history, yeah. He's Lucha.
I I absolutely, again, as a fan, when I look at the curtain, or the door or the
Thank
ramp
you.
or whatever is available, for the talent to come through, very eye catching. Not only, one time with this amazing, you have the headdress that
Yes,
goes
sir.
along
Which there is a
with the
story to it,
gear.
like you said. There is kind of to me when I first started that, like I wanted to. So the original like character I wanted to do was like I'm the last like pharaoh. I'm the last chosen by the pharaohs, which I will. But in order for me to become my own like pharaoh, my own like king, whatever, I have to please each pharaoh like Anubis and Horus and all these guys. So after like let's say I fulfill my mission with Anubis, I switch on to Horus, and
Hmm.
I keep like proving myself until at the end I become my own. I have my own mask with like my own animal or whatever. So that was kind of the original idea. I pitched that to a couple of people, and they told me like it's like too TV. I remember I pitched it to OVW, and I was like, we love this, but it's like too TV. We have to sign you to because there is some you're fighting for something. Okay, I gotta beat you because they told me. So now I
Yeah,
just
but
do it kind of to keep doing it. Yeah.
you've created something though.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's the thing. You've created not only a character, but there's like goals, there's meaning,
Yes, sir.
there's
Yeah.
story behind it and everything,
Yes,
you
sir.
know?
Yes, sir.
Um and being on something like OVW, what a long history they have. I
Yes,
mean,
sir. Yeah.
holy cow. Getting those chances just has to really warm your heart with
Oh,
pride and knowing that
100%.
you're doing something correct out there, you
Yes,
know?
sir. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know.
Um,
I'm sorry. All right.
no,
Keep
no,
going.
no,
Keep
go
going.
ahead,
Sorry. No, no,
please.
no, no. We'll get. I'm pretty sure we'll get whatever I'm about to say. But you go ahead, sir.
Um, but the gear, when you have different versions, are there different meanings behind each?
That was the original plan. Like the plan for me was like, let's say the black gear is meaning like I'm gonna work your leg or something because it's represent like I was like I put like each body part to each like pharaoh, and I
Okay.
was gonna play by like Horus because like the eye I don't know I forgot it was like the neck, and I forgot who else like I remember I assigned it but I never really paid too much of them because like it kind of got shot down a little bit. So
All
like
right.
but originally like, each pharaoh and each gear me like I'm going after that body part with that.
Okay. Very interesting. A meaning, and I knew there was going
Yeah.
to be a meaning behind the different colors and such. And you wore that black gear at CPW against one Bobby Buffet. Two of
Yes, sir.
my, I mean, and I know you yell and scream at us when you come through the curtain and get in that ring and stuff. Bobby Buffet, I love him to pieces, and I know we're in a different environment here, so I'm just going to put it out there. And I told you both, two of my most favorite people in the entire universe I have to watch battle each other. And you wore that black gear going against Bobby.
Yes,
And you
sir.
had a question. How did you like the match? And I said, I love the way you use your submission game. So that black gear was behind taking Bobby Buffet and turning him into a big Bavarian pretzel. And I know he likes to eat and stuff, but that
Yes,
was the meaning behind that specific gear.
kinda, yeah, actually. Usually like the black, I mean like all the other stuff now really don't fit me, the other stuff I had. But this one I stuck with it. But like originally that was like, okay, that means I'm gonna be more technician, more
All
trying to
right.
like pritzel you up and stuff. But now they all
And,
kind of morph into the same thing.
and I don't mean to, pound, hammer a little bit on the gear, but it's just so professionally done. Professional. You
Thank
look
you. I appreciate it. Thank
absolutely
you.
there. You catch the eye. You
Thank
have
you.
the kids that are in the bright neon colors with the
Yes, sir.
tassels hanging off their arms and off their legs and stuff, and they try to catch our eye that way when they come through the curtain, along with their energy,
Yes,
if you will.
sir.
You don't say a damn word, and I'm already like, oh, I,
Yeah.
I don't
Thank
even
you.
care if I don't know the person next to me. I will slap their arm and I go, "Do you see this guy? I mean, holy shit, very eye catching." I
Thank
really
you. And
wanted
I
to.
knew like it was kind of an advantage because last year I did the Impact like gut check tryout, but they give us like the
Okay,
gut check T-shirts to do like the tryouts in, and at the end I will give you matches, and I see like the first couple of matches they did their matches in the regular T-shirt they gave us to do the workouts in. I was like, oh no, I gotta wear my gear because I know my money is in the like it's the whole look. And when I did that, like after the tryout, one of the producers came to me and was like, hey, they were taking pictures of you because they like your gear. And I talked to Lance Storm, and he said they liked it, and a bunch of people. So, like you said, sir, like the gear does help me a lot.
it's part of the package. All right, it's one of
Yes,
those
sir.
tools that's in that toolbox, and that toolbox, we talk about it all the time on this show. There is so many tools in that toolbox to become a singles wrestler, and that gear, my friends, very, very important tool in that toolbox. So
Yes, sir.
I
I have to
mean,
agree with that. Yeah.
you're doing very well on that front. Um, let's get into a little bit about the name and the character because obviously we were already speaking about Egypt. You are originally from Egypt, is that correct?
I was raised there and lived there my whole life. I just came here like 6 years ago to Egypt.
Okay.
No, I mean to
Uh,
America like 7 years ago, 6 7 years ago.
uh, do you know? Do you know a young gentleman, upcomer, part of Black and Yellow, Ting Shi?
No.
Okay. Well, we have Ting Shi and Corey Jackson together. They're Black and Yellow. Some young upcomers. You would love these kids.
Okay.
Ting Shi, he's lived in Japan and he's only been wrestling for a little bit and he didn't know anything about wrestling out in Japan. So I posed this question. Since you were in Egypt, it's not easy to get to your local
Oh,
VFW to catch some wrestling, right?
I never went to a wrestling show. I never been to a wrestling show, wrestling ring until I went to Gleason's. And
Really?
yeah, like, and the reason like how I got into wrestling because of my older brother. So I don't even remember when I got introduced to wrestling. I just grew up. Okay, my older brother watching, and he would tell me everything. And my dad, he
Okay.
lived in America, and he would come like every couple of months. He would come like in the summer, but he would because he knows my older brother loves wrestling. So he would just bring tapes and tapes of wrestling. So that's how I actually learned my English. I just
Wow.
learned just watching like the tapes, and I remember like my dad didn't know better, so he just like record WCW a lot. It's like, oh, wrestling, the kids love it, you know. And my brother will like sit down, like try to break stuff down for me and stuff. So that's
Wow.
how I got my wrestling. Yeah, I get my
That
wrestling
that
every 6 months, you know,
that is
every six,
wild.
7 months. Yeah, that's how I got
That
my
is
wrestling.
wild. So uh, imagine, boys and girls, if the way he was learning wrestling and speaking was through English was through the Attitude Era. We might have a very different
Oh,
Prince
absolutely.
Ahmed right now.
Oh, 100%. And the way like I became a heel is because of my older brother. My brother had this weird philosophy where if he likes The Rock, I can't like him. I gotta cheer for Triple H. It's like, but I like that. No, you go for Triple H. And like in soccer too, if he likes a team, like I have to go with the other team. So I just was forced to the with the heels, you know.
Wow. So right from the beginning, have you always been on, if you will, the dark side? Being a heel as Prince Ahmed, have you always been a heel since you started?
Yes, I always been a heel. I think I only became a babyface in Wrestling Open, and by
Okay.
complete accident. But the original plan when I went to Johnny was like, oh, every Arab Papa, he's a heel. You're gonna become a baby, and all right. And I like the idea. It's like, okay, like I knew you could
Okay.
represent your country and your religion in a different way. It's like, oh yeah. The moment I walked out my first match, I started booing, and I just like fed into it. And just, I was wrong. You gotta be a heel. So I just
We
stuck with it. I love it.
we do that though.
Oh, I know.
We sometimes choose what's up and what's not up. You know what
Yes,
I'm
sir. Yeah,
saying?
100%. Learned that both times. You know?
And it just happens though, and this word kind of comes out a lot on this show as well, organically. It just
Yeah.
happens organically. Something at a moment in time in wrestling between the fan and wrestler, there's a spark somehow, some way, and it just
Yes, sir.
happens. And you happen to catch that
Yeah.
spark right off the beginning.
Yes, sir. And I actually fed it. I wasn't like disappointed. I actually like, okay, I'm gonna just go with it, and it was a lot of fun. I was like, okay, I gotta stick with this. You know?
I posed a question to the talent that have done both. What do you like better? And I almost want to say 100% of the time, it's heel
Oh,
because you get
absolutely,
to have more fun and let loose a little bit more.
absolutely, yeah.
And
Yes,
it's a
sir.
lot harder work, they say, to be a babyface and
Oh
keep
yeah.
us on board.
Yes, sir.
Um, you have a lot of fun being a heel, yeah?
Oh yeah, 100%. I could do whatever the hell I want. Especially like I just speak Arabic, so I don't even need to. Cause I'm from I'm from Egypt, so my mother tongue is Arabic. So I just speak. I just say whatever. Sometimes if they don't know what I just be speaking about like watermelons and like cooking and they don't even know. But as a baby, it's just like so restricted, and I'm so used to just speaking Arabic. So sometimes like, yeah, let's go, and I say yalla, and they're like, oh man, and they just people look at me, what? So it's pretty weird for me.
Your facials are beautiful when it comes to wrestling. That's a
Thank you.
one of those tools again. Um, as you were speaking that, I know I was kind of laughing a little bit as you were speaking on that, but your mean face is absolutely amazing, and I cannot imagine you coming out with that mean face with the headdress off, screaming at us fans. Watermelon seeds suck, or something along those lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, really
Ah,
is like I start doing it like for fun because like I curse a lot. And like in Arabic and in Egypt, like that's a big no-no. And I was told like I actually was told by OVW like not to curse because I didn't know they had a partnership in Qatar.
okay.
And they brought me as like, hey man, like you cursed last time, right? I was like, probably. And oh, you can't do this. So I just started switching it up. It was just like try to still sound mean, but like say this ridiculous stuff, you know?
Oh man, that is fantastic. Uh, you know, next time And I don't get to see you often enough. I really don't. Could you just please scream at me, I hate scrambled eggs or something
I'll
along
do
those
that.
lines?
I'll do that for you. I'll grab you by the t-shirt and say that to you.
Yes.
I'll put you over. I love you, Don, but I was just saying Arabic.
I can't wait
You
to get
know,
some scrambled eggs. Oh, that's going to be fantastic. Oh, holy shit. That's
that
good
is a lot
stuff.
of fun. Thank you.
That is great stuff. Great stuff. And again, I don't write nothing down or
Yes, sir.
formulate. There's no formula to STP. So just take the ride with me. We're going to go back to Jason. See, that's what I'm talking about. Gleason's gym.
Yes, sir.
Um, there are some guys that I've had on my show that you are very acquainted with, and you've already mentioned one of them, except I haven't had him on the show. I don't know how he hasn't slit my throat yet, is one Jocko. Because face, you
Sorry.
can't talk. He doesn't speak. So what the hell
Yeah,
would I
yeah.
even, what am I going to do there? Uh, but Jocko, I got to get on because I know he does the podcast stuff, and he's probably the
Yes,
only
sir.
guy out of that group, and I'm just going to go run them down if I may. We have one Prince Ahmed. We have one PJ Savage. We have one
Yeah.
Jay Bougie. We have one Face. We have one Jocko. Collectively, those two together, faceless ones as a tag team. And I
Yes,
know
sir.
they've got their own thing going on.
Yeah.
But I want to touch upon something. Then we're going to get back to the training. There was a thing called Takeover.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, Takeover, out of PJ Savage's own words, out of his own mouth, it was had an element of the Bullet Club, if you will, where there was multiple members and they would go to different promotions and fucking take over.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, if I'm not mistaken, because I have heard, you, Prince Ahmed, was part of the OG, the original takeover. Is that correct?
I didn't like when he first pitched the idea. I was supposed to join, yes, and he made
Okay.
a logo for me and everything. Like at first, I told him like I don't think I fit in that stuff. He's like, no, no, but we're all brothers because they all just came out of Gleason's, and
Right.
they're like we're sticking together. I left a little bit before them, so I
Okay.
was already doing my own thing, and I told him yes, and so okay, we'll figure something out. But then like the stuff they did, I didn't really agree with it. The way they did it. It's just like the whole I like their promos, all that stuff. Like for me, it's like, oh, that's not the way I was kind of brought into the business. Where like, oh, f you, this promotion, blah, blah, we can't take it over. Like I love it as a work, but some people start taking it as a shoot. I was like, ah, you know what? I'm doing. And at that time too, I couldn't really stay with them because I was traveling a lot. Like 1 week I was in Texas, 1 week I was in like in Louisville, 1 week I was in
Right.
Florida. So I was traveling like that. I couldn't really meet up with them or like be in the same shows as them. But then like they just kind of God bless them, they work for them. They
Yeah.
fit like yeah. And besides, I
It
don't
took.
really like. I've been to only in one faction, and that's I loved it though, but like I kind of don't want to,
Okay.
you know.
More of a singles wrestler
Yes,
doing your
yeah,
own thing, got your
yes
own
sir, yeah,
flavor going on over there. There's
yes
nothing
sir,
wrong with that. That's what you dream of as becoming a wrestler, though, as a singles wrestler.
yes
Unless
sir.
you're a huge fan of tag team wrestling or something like
I
that.
love tag team
But
wrestling. I really do. And even when I'm been put in tag team matches, I love doing it. But I don't want to be in a tag team. Just
Mhm.
like just me, like the tag team or the factions. I don't really like
uh,
doing it as much.
let's kind of spin back to the Gleason's gym. That is where you train under Johnny Rods, correct?
Yes sir, yes sir. Johnny Rods and of course Cowboy Billy Walker,
No,
who is like
I,
the head trainer there.
I'm to
One of my
hear.
favorite people ever. Yes sir.
Yes, and I am to hear that is an amazing environment to become a wrestler because it's not just they're not a one trick pony. They teach
No.
you multiple
Yes, sir.
uh, parts and give you multiple tools to add
Yes,
into
sir.
that toolbox to become a singles wrestler. Talk to us a little bit about how did you find Gleason's gym and how did it start going? Were you ready to quit? Because they say if you can pass the first day and actually come back after taking the first couple bumps, then you got something going on. So talk about us, the fans, because we don't take those bumps and what it takes to persevere in training and keep that going and to become a singles wrestler. So talk to us about finding Gleason's gym, how that came about, and really sticking it out and talk to us about Gleason's gym as a training facility.
So take this story kind of a little bit back. Like I lived, like I said before, like I lived my whole life in Egypt and stuff, and I was in dental school, oral dental school. I was supposed to be a dentist in Egypt. Yeah, I don't like. Not a lot of people know that, but like
Okay.
I was supposed to be a dentist, but when I was there, like I wasn't. That was like the first time I was just by myself, and just like, do I really want to do that? But there's no wrestling in Egypt, so I was like, might as well just keep. Because my older brother is a dentist, it's like I would just stay with it. But then like the more because that's the first time you actually live by yourself and stuff. So you're just thinking about your. It's like, well,
Right.
what if I really try to make this thing work, like and move to America? Because my dad lives there, and because my dad and my mom they live there, so they kind of made it a little bit easier for us to come. But like, but that whole plan before was like, okay, I gotta finish my degree first, then come to America, become a dentist, then maybe I'll see if I do the wrestling thing. But I'm like, by the time I'll be like 27, 28 at least. Damn, I kind of want to be here. Then something happened where I got like bad food poisoning there, and like and the doctor told me, hey man, if we didn't come to me, you would almost pass away.
Wow.
So ever since I was like, I kind of, you know what, fuck it, man, I want I want to be I want to wrestle. I want to at least give it a try. I want to at least give it a
Yeah.
try. I don't want to just be in my head. I just don't want to be a zombie where I just go to school to get a job to get a wife and have family. God bless everybody who does that. But like for me, I was like, I felt like there's something more.
Hmm.
And so I start working on the paperwork, which is it took me like almost like 2 years to finish the
Wow.
paperwork. Yeah, and I live in a city called Port Said, which is like 3 4 hours away from Cairo. So at least I need to go there at least 3 4 times to just travel back and forth. Sometimes God
Wow.
bless my mother would come to me with me to just help me out. But like everybody's kind of opposed to that idea, but I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna do my own thing. So, and the reason why I found out about Johnny is because okay, I know my dad lives in New York. I don't know nothing about America. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know my dad. He said he lives in Brooklyn. So I looked. Okay, Brook. Oh, WWE Hall of Famer. Oh shit. Oh, look all these names. Oh. Shit. And I started looking up the school. And I started sending like I didn't tell my dad yet I wanted to do it. I said, oh, is this address near you where you live? I said, why do you want to go there? God bless him though. So that's how I found. And then like, oh man, like what better resume to have, you
Yeah.
know? And at that time, I didn't really have that much access to wrestling except for the tapes. And when I started growing a little bit older, I just knew the very very small stuff about like WWE and TNA because they would just broadcast a little bit on TV, TNA. So I was like, okay, like that's good enough. That's good enough resume for me to be legit. And when I came in and joined, like I'm gonna do it. Like that's why like quitting wasn't an option because I have no fallback, you know. So I don't care how much they beat me, whatever the hell they do with me, you're not gonna get rid of me because I'm a little bit stubborn, you know. And the
I
first
can.
night I hated it. I was like, oh, I have to do this. Oh, maybe I should have became a dentist, you know, because I start rolling and I start like puking and stuff, and the ring is hard as hell. And Masha was
Hmm.
actually there the first day, and she got me Gatorade, and I just came from America. I did like 6 7 months. I was like, what is that? I was like, is there alcohol in it? Is it halal? And then she started laughing. I was like, yeah, of course, man. It's just sports drinking. I didn't know nothing. You know? So and then that led to the training with Johnny and Cowboy, which I love to death. He at
Nice.
first he would look at me and was like, okay, he wasn't sure. Then he heard about my story.
Hmm.
And at the beginning I was kind of fucking up when I joined Gleason's because at that time they used to do a lot of lucha shows. So I
Yeah.
was just trained lucha, which I didn't know. I'm like, I could do springboards, all that bullshit. But you told me to take a roll, do a regular roll, or take a snapmare. I'll kill myself. Like I don't know. So Cowboy like saw that. I was like, all right, son, let's break that from the ground up
Yeah.
again. And he beat the hell
Definitely.
out of me. And oh, he did. He beat the hell out of it, but all with love.
Oh
That's
yeah.
yeah, like that's what I love about Cowboy. Like at first, like he would stay in the ring. God bless him, wear a mask. He like go with everybody, stretch the hell out of everybody, just beat the hell
Wow.
out of them. Then you get out, then he tags you in again. But every time, everything he would do the same thing, but every time, everything he did is worked. So the wrist like he did before was like kind of a shoot. This time he worked it and see how you react. And like
Hmm.
if you sold it the same way you sold it when it was really applied, you're good. Then he's gonna keep working with you. If you did it, yeah, he's gonna shoot it again on you. You know?
And I know we go all over the place, but that topic right there, um, the selling,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
working with your body, working with your facials, as we
Yes,
were
sir.
talking earlier. That's a big, huge, gigantic, enormous tool in
Yes,
the
sir.
toolbox because I see it on TV all the time. And it's not just on one program, it's not just on one platform. It's
It's on
still
everything.
all across all platforms.
Yes, sir.
There are so many men and women that are on a bigger stage, being the WWE, the AEW, the Japans, and such, the Impacts, and all of that. That still, to this day, pissed me off. They don't sell, or they pull back, or you know what I'm selling
Yes, sir. Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm sure you see it. You have
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah.
You have to see this.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us, the fans. Again, we're not in there, but talk to us how important that tool of selling is, because it shows so much in that ring to us as the
Yeah, it
audience.
it tells a story. That's the whole point of selling. Well, let's say if I apply a move, I gotta make it. I'm gonna make sure that people see that I'm trying to kill this son of a bitch and put this ugly mean face on. And if the other guy, if he's selling it well, I don't need to do shit. People gonna feel that
Right.
sympathy. Like, oh
Mhm.
man, I want, and like if you're such a good seller, you give that audience that little. Is it for real or is it like a work? And that's all we need. And that's it. Really paints that picture, especially with my style. If the guy don't sell for me, like my match falls apart because I work that body
Mhm.
part. I try to be mean as hell and all that stuff. So, and we all were taught that in Gleason's because we were that shit was applied on us for real, you know. So we kind of know how to react to it kind of properly. So we just got to remember that pain. That's how always Cowboy told us, and it really. I don't know if it's too early to jump on it, but like I kind of got a little opportunity from Gleason's to they wanted to do like a new Lucha Underground, like I think like 2018 or something. And Matt Striker came to the gym a couple of times, and I was like, I thought it was like a year and a half in, and just like you said, just the way I sold and just the way I work and put my face the facials. So they called me over there and they flew us to Vegas. Vampiro like
That's
called me
awesome.
and yeah, which is awesome for me because remember the tapes I told you.
Yes.
Like I used to watch those tapes, like a lot of Vampiro on these tapes, videotapes. And my grandma, God rest her soul, like she died when I was super young. But I remember she used to watch him and like call him the devil, and she was like, she was so terrified. So just to get him calling me like, oh man, like the same guy that I used to watch in Egypt, like called me here, like oh man, and that's one of the things they because I was skinny as hell, even more than now. But like they said, like one of the reasons why they liked me was like the aggression and the facials and all that stuff, which made it a lot easier for them, which is a very big point.
You've mentioned uh, styling and profiling, lear jetting, however you want to put it, across the country already in your young career. Um, you've left the nest of Gleason's gym. Do you still
Yes, sir.
train there? Do you still go back there and train
I go
regularly, or
because now I'm a coach or a co-coach in the Fallout Shelter with Masha and Pena and Santi and Mike Law and Akira from MLW. So
excellent?
so now like that's my home now, but I still will
Okay.
go to Gleason's, say hello and try to help out as much as I can. But now the Battle Club and Fallout, now that's my home.
Uh, Talk to us about getting bounced around the country as a talent, because especially as a young in your young career right now,
Yes, sir.
because it could be overwhelming when
Yes,
you
sir.
get a call across country and you're like, wait, me? No, they can't
Yes.
be talking about me,
Yes,
right? You
sir. Yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of get
Yeah.
that, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Especially like when you just because in Gleason's, like everybody knows, like you're not allowed to go do other shows. You're not allowed to experiment around. So to get that call, and the first thing is kind of big because they flew us in. They flew me and my buddy Honcho, Matt Banks, which is one of my best friends. He's in the New Japan dojo now, killing it. He just wrestled Darren Young, Fred Rosser, and did an
Nice.
amazing match. So they flew me and him from Gleason, and we never experienced anything but each other, just wrestle each other. And I only wrestled Matt Striker like once, and I stiffed the hell out of him, but that was enough for him to to recommend it to Vampiro. And we did like a pilot, a couple of trials. They're like when I went there to Chris Bay, I worked in there a couple times. There was Solo Sokoa, there was Will Alday, Mysterious Q. I don't know if you're familiar. A lot of Texas guys.
Hmm.
Gino Medina from MLW. It was a lot of guys there that. Oh, Marty the Moth from Lucha Underground. he was
Yeah.
there, and we did like we did the tryouts and tapings there. So like, oh man, it was a wait me like I'm a year in and like fuck, you know. And I when I first walked in, like I could see Vampire wasn't sure about me. Then I did the tryout with Matt, and they're like, okay. Then they put me with Chris Bay, and we killed it. And then they
Yes.
and then they made us do a taping again. It was a beautiful venue. I'll send you the picture. It was a beautiful like
Oh,
venue in Vegas. And then we did a hell of a match again. And then like after all that stuff, they did like a meeting in the locker room. Only 10 guys. And he
mhm.
was like, all these guys are stars already. And I was just like this little new kid, you know, super skinny. But I had this aggression and this the facials and stuff. I tried my best, and then like Vampiro said, like in the middle of the locker room at the end, he said like you were the best guy here. It was like among Solo Sokoa is there, like Marty the Moth, all of these like big names. It's like, "Oh, shit, me? You talking to me, sir?" you know? Yeah, but it didn't work out at the end. Like stuff happened there, but like that was a great experience. That was my first time ever getting out of like Gleason's in New York and
That's
stuff.
awesome,
And
man.
from there, like I try to keep going, I guess. You know?
Right, right, man. I, it gets overwhelming
Yes, sir.
when
Yeah,
you're
it does.
in a young career and you
Yes, sir.
get some of these opportunities that you thought you wouldn't get maybe 3, 4, 5+ years
Yes,
into
sir.
being a professional wrestler. Excuse me. And I did hear kind of those same rumbles. It's a little hard to get out of the Gleason's
Yes,
gym
sir. Yeah.
and do your thing. Because I like to say, once you get to fly out of the nest and spread your wings, that's when shit really starts happening for your career because you're not in that same area. You're
Yes.
not in your home. You're not in that comfort zone.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now,
100%.
there are so many question marks once you leave there and go to new promotions, new venues, new states, new fans, and
Yes, sir.
everything that goes along with that. Um, it's such an adventure, and that's why there's so many things that to become a wrestler. I keep saying it over and over, and I'm sure the peeps are sick of hearing it, but I always say it's one of the hardest things in the universe to me personally to become a successful singles wrestler with everything that it takes, not only physically in that ring, but then it takes mentally,
Mentally.
and then it takes those sacrifices with your family and
Right.
everything that surrounds important dates, may it be choirs or concerts or birthdays or Christmas or whatever.
Like with
All
me,
of that.
I guess I left like Egypt. I left my whole life to come do this, so I can't really half-ass it. I was like, oh, I have something. I was like, if there's a date or there's an opportunity, I'm going. I'm trying my best. I'm not gonna be. I'm not one of those guys to just like put it on social media. Oh, I'll work hard and all that stuff. I'd rather just do it. Because if you really work hard and if you're really in the grind, it's gonna show sooner or later, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm not really good in the politics game. I'm trying to get good at it, but like I remember I was talking to um Scott Hall before he passed away, and we were just talking. And he was talking about my gimmick and all that stuff, and he asked me what kind of style. I told him I'm a technical wrestler, and he told, "Are you good with promoters and stuff?" I told him, "Not really." He's like, "What are you doing? Like it's gonna take you longer, but once you get there, you're established. Nobody can really take you down because you
Mhm.
that technical and you work. It's solid, but it will take you a little bit longer to, you know, to get to the top. But once you get there, you're good. So it's taking me a little, but it's good, you know."
So you seem to have a good grasp on the psychology. Again, one of those very, very important tools in the toolbox. You have a great concept on the psychology, which I'm sure comes from your training and being a
Yes,
wrestling
sir.
fan as well, because it kind of melds together, if you will, by
Yes, sir.
watching wrestling as a fan and upcoming. Um, excuse me. Using the psychology, which is and the psychology isn't just one tool. There's actually multiple tools that kind of make up that tool of
Yes, sir.
psychology. One of them being the facials and using your body and such and all of that. I feel, me personally, the way you react in the ring, your look, and your in ring is just so, how do I even put this into words? So goddamn innovative. I've never seen shit like that in
Yeah.
my fucking life. That's probably the only way I
I
can put it,
appreciate
really.
it. I appreciate it.
Um,
Thanks so much. Though.
I think all of that. really gets the eyes on one Prince Ahmed, because some of the clips. Now, this is the research that I spoke of way back at the
Yes, sir.
beginning of this. I was actually gonna go stalk your face page, and I was gonna sift through all of these innovative leg suplex, all of this shit that you come up with on the fly, dude, that is so innovative. And we think, boys and girls, we think that we've seen all there is to wrestling. And I know we see a lot of shit on TV. And I know we see a lot of the young people coming out there, young talent, and flying around like airplanes and the flying Walendas and doing some really, really crazy shit. My man don't have to get up on the third rope, fly across country, and jump off the third rope to break his head on the concrete 17 rows deep. My man is doing some really, really innovative in ring, in the mat, between those ropes, innovative technical wrestling you've never seen in your life. Now, I can keep going on and on and on about
Thank you.
this.
I'm super overwhelmed. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Please, what? How do we do this? You probably don't know how you come up with this stuff because it's
Yes.
on the fly. Shit just is coming to you.
Yes, sir.
What is an inspiration? I guess would be the best way to kind of attack this. What's the most, like, your biggest inspiration on bringing this innovative style and these innovative moves, and they're just little tweaks here and there,
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah, that's all it
into
is.
the basic moves? What gives you this inspiration, my man?
So the idea from it, like from the get go, is like ring psychology and stuff. Like Johnny was always talking, try to tell a story, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And a lot of my style is we call it the cowboy style, which is you go in there and submissions and twists and turns and like really torture the guy without really bumping them. You don't really need to do much. You just like bump, like to show that pain, which is that's how Cowboy trained us too. And I remember I was doing that in Gleason's, and I was just doing submissions and all that stuff, and really doing just the holds and stuff. And Johnny was just he pulled his chair and just stopped watching me. So and I was just doing for hours. Me and my buddy Big Al is from Gleason's, and he said, "Bah, everything was beautiful. That stuff don't draw money." I was like, "Ah, fuck." So in my head, I was like, okay, I still want to tell that story. That's the only way I kind of know how to just work that body part. But how could I still tell that story, but still keep it interesting? So it started like that. Okay, I got the arm. Oh, what do I do? Hammer. Like, what did I go from hammer? Like, oh, let me. Instead, I see a lot of people like back bump. What if I just face bump him? And it keeps going that way. Like I'm still working the body part, but I'm trying to make it as interesting. Some people say I overdo it, but yeah, and I kind of agree with them, but like it's still, at least it keeps the eye the attention on it. But I'm still telling that body part. So if I give you like a hip toss back breaker, I'm working your back the whole time. But I'm still trying to make that make sense, but still make it my own.
Mhm.
So and it started with Nigel McGuinness. So just watching Nigel McGuinness when he just like work the arm and just do all these kind of stuff to it. And I was like, oh, I like that. And I just kept doing that like into different body parts, try to master it as much as I can. I'm not saying, oh, I'm great at it, whatever, but that's what I try to do. Even all the stupid the moves you see, if let's say you saw like the I don't know if you saw the back body drop and like neck breaker I just like posted.
Yep,
I was working his neck the whole match, so it made sense for me to kind of do that thing.
that's pretty wild, man. Because you do these innovative things, and I try to stop at my dad's after work a couple times a week, and
It's a
and say what's up. We hang out and bullshit, and he's like, "Hey, what's on the schedule? What's on the calendar?" And um, I'll be like, "Dad, you got to see this shit," and we'll talk about maybe a promo that I saw or something
yes
like
sir.
that. But lately, over the past probably, I'd say 6 months, I'm like, Dad, you got to see this Prince Ahmed shit again. He's like, oh, and he'll get ready, and it'll be like, what's next? What's new? You've made? Hmm, you've made not that I don't have fun at wrestling, because if you if you see me at wrestling, my friend, I have some fun.
You have your fun, and we
But
appreciate it.
visually, visually, on moves that have been done multiple times by multiple people, multiple generations over the history of wrestling. You're adding a twist that I've never seen before, and every single time I just pop.
Thank you.
Every single time, because like you said, that backdrop neck breaker. I'm like, wait, what the hell? How and why? And it's on the fly. Same thing. You turned Bobby Buffet into a pretzel 3 times in a matter of about, and I'm kind of piggybacking on some say it might be too much. You turned Bobby Buffet into a pretzel 3 different times in a matter of, I want to say 60 seconds, maybe 70 seconds. And you did 3 really cool things that I've never fucking seen before. Your leg is in this, and his arms are as this, and then you're like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm sick of this. I'm gonna turn this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna make Bobby do this, and my body is like, I'm like, what the hell's going on? I've never seen this shit before. But this guy is just doing it one after another after another. So it's basically a submission where you've got him, and it might be some kind of a cross face, but you're not cross facing, and you're doing this with your legs. And I'm like, I can't keep up with this guy.
Honestly, I don't
So
know what I'm doing. Like when that's like especially with submissions, I like to just free flow. I see what happens. Sometimes I can't even do it again because I don't know what the hell I just did. I just like because I remember what kind of unlocked that in my head. I was watching Zack Sabre Jr. early, and like he was just doing that stuff, and like somebody I forgot who said it in commentary said it looked like he's just making up on the fly. I was like, ooh, I like that. And so ever since I like to give myself room. You either gonna sink or swim. You're either gonna come up with something on the spot, something kind of cool, or you're just gonna just do something basic. Which
I see the ratio's been pretty successful though on trying to do stuff on the fly. Yeah.
so far, so far, and God bless my like honestly, like I could sit here and try to take the credit, but I can't do none of that stuff without my opponents. Like them willing to take these things, them playing with me and being loose enough with me where I could just try like I'm
Right.
twisting them. And sometimes I go a little bit crazy, but they pull me back. But like God bless everybody I work with, and I gotta thank them all because they're the ones who really make it. They're the ones who sell it and make that shit look good. So
Yeah.
thank you to everybody who agreed to take
It's
my
as
nonsense.
they say, it takes two to tango.
Yes,
You've
sir.
got to
Absolutely,
make
hundred
that
percent,
magic
100%.
happen.
It's not
Yeah.
me. Like in any match, if you see any match that's good, most likely it's because the other guy. Honestly, because if he's not
It's
selling for me, it's like it don't mean shit. Like, all I'm doing is just beating up a guy.
right.
But if he's selling, he tells the story. So it really
Yeah.
depends on my. I'm like I forgot who just told me that the other day. You're as good as your opponent. You
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, Working for OVW, being on the camera and such, and taking to travel, and are you a regular at OVW? What's going on over there?
with OVW, like I think last year they told me like because they I think they have like a certain amount of contracts. So they told me we'll have a gentleman's agreement with you where we'll bring you in at least once a month, whenever you want. And if we're doing
Okay.
house shows, whatever, we'll also bring it in. So it's kind of just up to me when I can make it and when I can't and stuff. So,
All right.
but I haven't been there in a little bit, but it's been cool. It's
Uh, Going to a promotion. uh, Let's go back to the first time of OVW getting that call, and we talk about the question marks of
yes,
starting
sir.
somewhere new and not knowing what the hell is going to happen, and your opponents and all of that.
Yes, sir.
Um, Talk to us because it has quite the history, as
Yes,
I
sir.
was saying earlier. It's a lot of camera work and such,
Yeah.
and they have a product, if you will.
Yes, sir.
Was it? Did you work any different? Did you feel any different?
Yes.
Were your nerves different coming into this OVW?
It really was because remember I told you like when I first kind of started, I did that Vampiro thing, the Lucha. It was called Lucha Libre Las Vegas. That was
Hmm.
the only time I ever had kind of like okay camera work and Matt Striker was my agent. So and that was like years ago. So in my head, I thought I was still ready for it. I didn't know just working independently is actually different. And then with Ovi, when I walked out there, like their hard cam is different side from the crowd. Like the crowd's in the back and the hard cam's there, but there's no crowd there.
Huh.
So all the crowd is behind you. So in my, I'm like, oh, I kind of worked TV before, so I'm good. But once I got out there, just my instinct was go to the camera, to the hard, to the people. So my
Right.
back was facing the hard cam the whole time. So they pulled me, they pulled me after my first couple of matches. Like Al Snow told me, hey man, like, honestly, man, fuck these guys. I don't want to like bury them. They say like, fuck these guys. They're trained to be here. Your money is in TV, is in cameras. Fuck
Okay.
all. Once he said that, like, okay, I started to get a little bit better at it. Really, because it's hard working. Like for me at least, because on the indies you have like okay, you have 10 minutes, you have 15 minutes, you're good. Even if you go a little bit over, it's not a big deal. But with TV, like, hey man, like I saw them freak out over a guy went 30 seconds over because they had commercials. Like, oh fuck. And like I remember they told me, okay, you have 10 minutes. Once I walked out there, I just got my gear off. I was like, it got cut to 5 minutes. So I was like, oh fuck. When we started it got cut to 3 minutes. So I'm like, so that kind of stuff you yeah, so that kind of stuff. And they actually like that adapted, but it still is like that's stuff you don't really experience on the indies. It's something you have to kind of even though you think you're ready, at least for me, I thought I was ready, but once I got actually working TV and all this, I was like, okay, I need a little bit practice, you know?
As they say, the reps. You start
Yes,
you
yes,
start
sir,
doing
yeah,
it a little more, and you get
yes,
more
sir.
comfortable.
And
You
one
know
of the
how to
things,
work it.
like we were talking about earlier, was the selling.
Mhm.
Like that's because my first match I did, it was all right. Then the second match was kind of a little bit of a squash match. It's all, okay. You have 30 seconds of shine. And then you're just gonna get your ass. So I made sure like the 30 seconds really meant something to work to the camera. But when he was beating me and stuff, I was just selling and round moving and show my face, and that's why they offered me the position like the once a month kind of deal, a gentleman's agreement. It
Mhm.
was just the selling, just try to work the camera, all that stuff, which is a very big part of wrestling. To me, is the biggest part
A-
honestly of wrestling is selling.
Absolutely. Uh, Talk to us about watching wrestling coming up with your brother. Are you watching the WWE? And I know you mentioned the WCW and stuff
Yeah.
like that. What was your go to as you were coming up as a wrestling fan?
When I was like a kid, it was WWE, WWF at the time. That was like
Okay.
our main thing. But like we had more WCW tapes, so I was actually more kind of because that's all I had. Was I had like DDP and Sting and Goldberg and all these people. So
Mhm.
and my brother will like I think because my brother he had a little bit more knowledge before me, or he's seen tapes that weren't destroyed, so he just tried to smarten me up. Hey, that's Bret Hart. There's a very big deal. He used to be in WWF. I mean, you try to catch me up and just and program me to who to like, who not to like and stuff. And a little bit of ECW. I think we had only one tape of ECW, and my brother would tell me about Taz. Like he's from where Dad lives, where Dad works. In Brooklyn,
Mhm.
New York. I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're cheating for him. Yeah. So,
uh, do you still watch the product currently?
I try as much as I can because, like, in now because I train with Battle Club, I'm a trainer with Battle Club. So our classes are Mondays and Wednesdays. This is with me and Santi. Santi, he say we're equal, but to me, I love him too much. He's the main coach, and I try to help him. Mostly I try to watch it whenever I can, as much as I can.
Okay. I've had one colossal Mike Law on here, and we've
I
talked
love Mike.
Fallout. Yes, a
I
great
love Mike.
human being. Love me some.
I love him because when I was starting up on the Indies, a lot of people would just like not taking advantage of him, but in matches they were just like they're not giving a fuck. And he would make sure I worked him, I think twice. He made sure, and he didn't know me. He just make sure like I got my stuff in. And like I
Mhm.
remember, and they would tell, okay, what move you want to hit? And I'll say a move, and it's like I mean, put a little something into it, something, something, and he will make it bigger for me, making me more. Which he didn't remember when I got hired by Battle Club, and I went and
Uh,
told him I sorry, he didn't remember, which made me love him even more. Him and Dominic De Niro are same. So I love because of that, because these guys were super nice to me when they didn't need to. Like some people now are nice because they think I got. I don't have shit. Nobody knows me. But these guys were super nice to me when I was start, and they didn't need to. Dominic will let me get in the car with him and like drive with me to CZW and stuff. And I
that's
remember like they
awesome.
would do like little car trip, like they would talk in the car. I'm new with like I'll just keep my mouth shut, and that will
Uh,
make sure I'm in the conversation, which is why I always loved him. And plus, I'm a big fan of his work. So I'm sorry. Back to Mike Law.
no, no. Let's kind of dip into a little Dominic De Niro because I've East originally they were East Coast Syndicate. Now they
Yes,
are
sir. Yeah,
Fight or
him and Brother.
Die.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, collectively, holy shit, as a tag team.
Yes, sir.
But Dominic De Niro
Yes,
as a singles.
he's a killer.
Oh my goodness! And
He's the
his
wrestler I aspire to be. Like he's one I look up to. I want to be like Dom. I told him that. I was like, I very few people like on the Indies I watch the study. He's one of them people. Like I got, now he got everything. You talk about facials and aggression and stuff. Oh, that's Dom, brother. You meet him outside, the sweetest heart. Oh, the best person you're ever gonna meet. In the ring, you'll beat the fuck out of you.
I seen him at ACW, American Coliseum
Yes,
Wrestling, recently at the Palisades in West Nyack, New York. The Palisades is an amazing. I don't know. It's probably like two cities put into one. It's a fucking mall, 4 floors, and it's gigantic. And they had wrestling in it. And I love, absolutely love that environment at the Palisades for wrestling when ACW goes there.
no, that's
Absolutely
awesome. Yeah.
fantastic. Dominic De Niro is the War Eagle champion for ACW.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And he's got some kind of rivalry going on with Anthony Marcos, if I'm not mistaken. He was the previous
I
champion,
think
and
he's
they
a
have
previous
an
champion. Yeah.
upcoming singles
Match.
competition for said gold belt. But this was a little wrench in the middle of their rivalry. Dominic De Niro was supposed to defend that. Okay. Here comes Dominic De Niro being pushed in a wheelchair. Okay. And he's talking, he's got the tracksuit, he's got the glasses,
Oh, I love
he's
that
got
look.
a
Yeah.
microphone, and he's talking about being injured and he's not medically cleared and this and that and the other thing. And I saw this, and my eyes, as soon as my eyes saw Dominic De Niro in a wheelchair doing some promo shit in a microphone, my brain said Dominic De Niro is going to produce some beautiful art, run over there and follow him in that fucking wheelchair. So I followed him as he got wheeled all the way around the fans at the Palisades. And then he came inside the guardrails, and he happened to come up to me and read the paperwork. I didn't say what he wanted me to say, but I was still on the same
Oh, that's
team as Dominic De
awesome.
Niro. He asked me what that number said, and I said, "That's you're not medically cleared." So,
I
but
love
he
that.
did say
I gotta
he
see
did
that.
say he did say I was an upstanding journalist or something along those lines. So I appreciate.
I love that. I gotta
Well,
see that. Send me that clip though, please.
I will. It's not very long. It's about a minute and change. You're gonna
That's
absolutely love
perfect.
this if you love you some Dominic De Niro.
I love
And
that.
I
Yeah, I
told
love that.
him this is beautiful fucking art. He didn't even have to wrestle, and he caught my goddamn heart
He's
just
amazing.
because I
He's
already loved
amazing.
him in the
Yeah,
first place. Oh
both inside and outside the ring. He was one of
my
actually the
goodness!
reason why I almost didn't take the job at Battle Club because he trains there every now and then, and I used to go there because Jorge Santi. I don't know if you're familiar with him. One of the to me is the best wrestler I've ever seen in my life, hands down. He's just, I saw him in Gleason's once before when I first started, and he just took a hip toss. The way he took the hip toss is absolutely. I've never seen it since. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, hip toss looks so huge. So he invited me to Battle Club to come train with him a little bit. And then like I started going every now and then. Joe Kim and Paul and everybody, Elliot Martinez, all these people are amazing there. But Dom was trained there, so I was still, just doing drills with them and stuff. And once like Joe Kim, which is a brother, I love that man. When he offered me the job, I almost said no because how could I be a coach and Dom is not a coach? Like in my head, like it really. And even if he's in the class, I'm not gonna say shit. I can't say shit to Dom, And I told Dom that I was like, you're one of the reasons why I almost didn't take it. It's like, and he was, it's like, no, man, you deserve to be there, and he put me over like Dom does. Is such a sweetheart. So all the
He
love to
is.
Dom.
Uh, got a little piece of my heart for one Dominic. I'll make
Yes,
sure
sir.
that I send you that clip because you're gonna love
Yes,
him.
sir. Please, yeah.
Mike Law, Masha Slamovich, and
Yes, sir.
company over at the Fallout
Yes,
Shelter.
sir. Steve Pena,
Uh,
Mike Law,
Steve
Jorge
Pena. How could I
Santos.
forget? One of
Yeah,
my
Akira,
all-time favorites.
Steve
How can I?
Domingue, a referee, Mike Law's brother,
How could I?
one of the
There's a
best referees
pterodactyl.
out there. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there's a pterodactyl. There's a pterodactyl flying in my room. I don't know
Oh
what the
my
hell's going on here. I'm getting attacked over here. Um,
God.
uh, Fallout Shelter
Yes,
having
sir.
a great time over there, producing some fine talent,
Yes, sir.
quality talent. Um, talk to us about the Fallout Shelter because I am a little familiar, but not too familiar. But talk to us a little bit, and so the fans get to know a little bit about the Fallout Shelter.
It's part of Battle Club Pro, which is to me, yeah, I gotta say that now. Even though I do believe it's the best company in New York with House of Glory and stuff. Now they have the school, which and you have the best women's wrestler there. You have Masha Slamovich as a trainer. You have Steve Pena, one of the people who's killing on the Mike Law. You have Akira is on MLW now. He's on TV, and um, of course Jorge Santi. And each like that's what how Joe Kim wanted. He wants like each class almost like, oh, this is English, this is Spanish, this is math. So like one class they will focus on promos and character work, like Mike Law usually be that kind of thing. Like, and you have, let's say, me and Santi will work on like, okay, how to be a heel, how to be a baby, sell, and all that stuff, how to tell a story. And Masha just killing people and doing all of them together, doing like working on conditioning and like the aggression and really laying the stuff, making it make sense. And Pena's kind of a all around like, okay, you come in, you test everything around, we'll see how we work. So it's each class is different, and you have Steve Domingue, which is a referee who will give you some different perspective, because as a wrestler, yeah, we all together, but once a referee, and he's so good at his job, like tells you an opinion, it really makes a difference. So
Great
to me it's
perspective.
yes sir, yeah, it's the complete team in my eyes. And you have like Joe K on Instagram and Twitter, the one who posts clips. He will come and shoot stuff with you and make you more comfortable, do vignettes. And Joe Kim is always hands on, so it's to me is the best like environment you could. That's something we all kind of is to me. It's just, I might get in trouble for, but like, it's the closest thing to Gleason's that I felt. Like that's everything I wish like Gleason's had, because Gleason's was beautiful in every aspect, but we really didn't really care that much about like doing like matches and all that stuff, and like trying to work on your characters. And we were more focused on the grind and being professional, all that stuff. And I feel Fallout has the complete picture of it. Have the a more complete picture of that. Doing the
So
weekly tapings and all that stuff. The Battle Club
for
X, check it out every Thursday.
for aspiring wrestlers, we've talked about a few options here.
Yes, sir.
And if you're looking for a place to train, Mr. Ahmed has mentioned so much talent that is training
Yes, sir.
at fine facilities out there. Get on the old keyboard, check out their facility, get out on
Yes,
their
sir.
social medias. If you're looking to start up wrestling, please look up some of these in that area, because there's so many. Wrestling is so much, it's just absolutely, just astonishingly
Yes, sir.
flourishing right now. Not only
Which is great.
wrestling,
It's great.
but training as well, training
Yes, sir.
facilities. There's
But I
many
feel like
options.
this play, it really has a good foundation. Like, let's say you don't, because I'm a nobody. There's a couple of us that people don't know, but you have like at least you have Masha, you have Pena, which he has. You have Santi. Santi's been to AEW, he's been to WWE, Ring of Honor, all these. So you have these, and Mike Law is same, like he's been to Ring of Honor. So you have people who've been kind of there. So and they're still on the scene too. So they're not just not gonna be like too old school where it don't resonate today. No, it's still they're current. They know what they're doing.
Right.
All of them.
Excuse me.
And Joe Kim, like he cares so much about outside of he cares so much. I've never seen any. That's one of the reasons why I liked Fallout, because I honestly I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but like a lot of people invited me to come and train, and other, but I always, because to me it's like I really don't want to. I have my own thing going. If I gotta train anywhere, it's gonna be Gleason's. That's the only place I went and train. So you know,
There was a match that I'd like to see, personally, being selfish, just taking this time to be selfish. And I'm from Connecticut, and I know you're from New York. So I'm going to put this out to, I don't know, specifically Tesla Strike Wrestling out of East Hartford, Connecticut. Ichiban,
oh,
Prince Ahmed.
Ichiban.
Okay?
Oh,
Prince Ahmed, Ichiban, V in between those two names. Please,
I
please,
visualized
Passive
that
Strength,
match.
Higher Brass, hear my cries. Please make this happen. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not an agent. I'm not a booker. I may not know the intertwinings and the behind the scenes, but what I do know, that fucking match is going to be fire.
Oh,
Please make that match. Please
that's
talk
one.
to us
Yes, sir.
about.
Please. That's one of the match like that. In my head, like I'll be. Let's say if I'm traveling or something, for some reason, it always pops in my head. Like, and all most of these moves I created in my head, I created on Ichiban. I'm not gonna let it for real. It's like, what if I do this? Blah, blah, blah. There's a couple of moves I haven't done yet because I kind of want to save them until hopefully one day, like when me and Ichiban, yeah, go at it because it's either gonna be one of the best matches you've ever seen in your life, or it's gonna be completely horrible. You know, because there's so much shit like, in my head that I came up with and tell that story and the oh shit moments and oh man, that match. I'll say any of the Miracle Generation, any of them like Kailan or Dustin or whatever, they're all amazing, and they're all still good people too. Like now they're like big names and stuff, and I met them before they kind of became big, and they're still the same dudes, which I appreciate. But any of them, I would love a match with them, and I'll still have that crazy match. But I feel like Ichiban, if for some reason he's the only one that really keeps coming in my head, like whenever like I'm walking or something, I might go in my crazy space where I saw. That's how I actually come up with moves where I just be walking. I was like, oh, what if I have a match with this one? What if I did? Blah, 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 and I come and I write it down right away. It's like, oh, or I see a move. I was like, what if I just twist it? And I'm like, I write it down. But mostly it's because me daydreaming about a match with somebody, which is usually honestly either Ichiban or Smiley. Usually.
That, that that is just absolutely amazing. I mean, who knew? That is absolutely the way, how musicians write. Is it the vocals first? Is it the music first?
They just all over.
Look at my man Ahmed. He's like, "Pow, pow, 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 pow. Ichiban, you're gonna take this. No, you're gonna
Yes,
take
sir. Yeah,
this."
yeah, for real. For real. In my head. And then before I didn't write them down because when I started doing that a little bit in Gleason, it's like, oh, which they're right though. It's like, no, just focus on the basic, which they're 100% right on. But once like I started doing my own thing, I was like, oh, now nobody could tell me no. I could come up with some stuff, you know. But I saw they drew, and I saw Ichiban work, and I loved it, and I was like, oh, I'll have a great match with him. And then like I start coming up with these things, like okay, and these how actually most of these moves come because of Ichiban and Smiley and stuff. Or on TV, I'll see one move and I was just like, oh, what if I just twist it a little bit? But it's usually that's how the thought process goes. Is an Ichiban daydream match. You know?
That would be something. Matchmakers,
Yes,
and
please.
if he has mentioned Smiley, please, I'm down for that too. But
Yes,
I have
sir.
a little piece of my heart for Ichiban, so
Yes, sir.
you
I
know,
know. Joe Kim
number
did
one.
tell me he did promise me Smiley, so we're waiting on that to happen.
Okay.
Exclusive for Don Kincaid Files.
uh, talk to us about now. I try not to ask general wrestling questions, so I'll kind of just spin this general question around a little bit, and I'll say,
Whatever you have in mind, just let me know. I love you, man, for real, Dan. I appreciate you. So
no,
you
I love
ask
you,
me
Prince
whatever you want.
Ahmed. This has been an amazing hour, 7 minutes so far.
Oh
Are you
wow, it flew
shitting
by.
me? Yeah,
Oh,
that's crazy. Instead of asking you a generalized question of what is your favorite match, how about what match do you think has brought the best out of Prince Ahmed out?
there is
And I
a
know there's,
couple.
there's a lot to choose from. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Like there is a couple. I'm honestly like I don't really like my matches that much. Like I'm always like fuck, all that shit. But there's a couple of matches where I felt like okay, something kind of changed in me, something kind of like unlocked. And at first sight with PJ Savage, he's one of my best friends, and he taught me a lot. I remember. So I know it's PJ. He unlocked something in me. I know it's Matthew Banks, which is also one of my brothers. Like there's a couple of people I call family. Like I could reconsider them family. Matthew Banks is definitely one of them. Matt, Chris Bay. Oh shit, my cat is. She just jumped up.
That's okay. We don't mind special guests.
So, I'm sorry.
No,
Matt,
you're quite all right.
um, Chris Bay. When I worked him in Vegas, but super recently now, like it just me. I feel like I'm in a different level. I just nowadays, it's because of that match with Jorge Santi in Battle Club that I
Mhm.
just had like early, I think this year, and then like right after, like I had with Pena, Steve Pena. So after this, I just felt like I'm different. I don't know, like it might be bullshit, but in my heart, in my mindset, I feel like I don't want to say I don't want to sound like asshole, but in my head, okay, I feel like I'm more of a I'm trying to be a main eventer now. Like I feel like I could bring it in because of these matches. Like it started with PJ and Matt. That was like years ago, but nowadays because of Santi, that match I had, because he really helped me out, like try to make moments. Before I just like create moves and we tell a good story and that, but I always felt something's missing. But he helped me make that theatrics, that just tell that, make that moment, like tell that story. Still, what you doing your shit, but you making
Right.
them remember the finish. And with Pena, he just brought the fight to me, and I loved it. Just like beat the hell out of each other and still tell the story and still like twisting each other up. But now I combine both. Where like one's super storytelling, one's super just whooping ass, and and who comes out the better. And I just feel like now I'm kind of combining both, and I'm starting to feel now the, especially these two matches. I'll put Pena and Santi.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that feeling of I'm on a different level because, as we spoke earlier, there's different sparks in your
Yes, sir. Yeah.
career that
Yes,
change
sir.
things.
That's it.
And you happen to be catching some of those sparks right
Yeah.
now. And to feel that your stock as Prince Ahmed has raised, there's nothing wrong with that, you know?
Yeah, it's still weird. It's weird saying that, just because it's not the way I was. It feels like, oh man, I'm a main eventer. I'm just like, because it's all subjective. But in my heart, in my head, like I feel like I'm at least like, not that I deserve, but like I know if you put me in that position, I know I could deliver, or at least
Right.
try as best as I can. I could deliver now, especially after that Pena and the Santi match, because I felt like I did that in Texas last week, not last week, the week before. I felt like I brought that match. Okay, I kind of combined them both, and then yeah. So
Well, let's just be honest. I mean, if a promotion hits you up and you're like, well, what's the deal? Who's my opponent? And not all promoters would tell you who your
yes,
opponent is.
sir.
That's kind of some last minute bullshit at the show. But if the promoter has it all set out, that damn pterodactyl, I'm gonna fuck him. I'm gonna fuck him up. Um, and the
Throw Q
promoter
at him.
says, "Oh, don't, you don't have to tell. You don't gotta tell me to throw Q. Fucking that fucking guy." If the promoter says, "I want to bring you in, and your opponent is going to be Donkey Kate on a pole match," kind of dumb shit, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're going to go against some dude you've never heard of, and he's probably my same build, and he's wearing a t-shirt, and he's wearing a pair of fucking cutoff jeans, and you look at this guy and you're like, all right, listen to me, my man. I'm trying to elevate myself here.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about, though. There is no reason to feel that, in a way, I feel a way that you haven't risen your stock. If you can feel that, then feel that, because that's called confidence. That's what
Yes, sir.
rises your stock even more, and you get those quality reps with some of these names that you've been speaking of. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and that's honestly how I feel in my. But I don't want to come as like an asshole. Like, oh,
No.
but in my heart, I feel like just in my heart, in my soul, I feel in the ring. I feel like I'm a different level. I feel like everything's kind of clicking now.
Throughout this interview, since you said you were going to be a dentist, I tried to picture you. I'm in the dentist chair. I got, and I see, I see Prince Ahmed come in with the headdress. Okay,
Yeah.
like holy shit, that would be a dentist visit. And
I look way different though. Like I was sending you my picture when I was supposed to be Dr. Ahmed. I look way different. I look like a baby. Now like I'm all ugly up and stuff. It really is good. It really is good
No,
for the business.
you're gorgeous. Don't, you're
Oh,
not ugly up. You're gorgeous. Stop you. But yeah, I've had that vision a couple times of Prince Ahmed coming through that door while doing the thing, and yeah.
I mean, my brother's still a
Uh,
dentist, so he's kind of close to that. I could send him your way.
no, let's not make that nightmare happen.
He's
Please,
I
sir.
keep calling him. He's the original heel. Like if you think I'm a heel, my older brother. Like I learned all my heel stuff from my older brother. I love him. I love my brother. He's in Egypt now. God bless
Shit sticks. Um, you've been making your way to different promotions. You've been
him.
doing a lot of stuff already in your young career, and I know I've mentioned this probably 3 or 4 times, but in in that short time, gaining those reps, gaining the quality matches, if you will, gaining camera time, Um, going to do you do seminars, by the way, when different talents come and you pay 20 bucks, 30 bucks or whatever, and you go to
I
seminars? Do you
only
do
did
seminars?
one when I was in Wrestling Open. Ortiz was there, and
Okay.
they thought, hey man, you could just be in it because you're already wrestling on the show, so you don't need to pay for nothing. I did that. It was actually a lot of help for
Okay.
me. But for me, my seminar has always been Matt Striker. Or I was
Hmm.
like, if I ever need a question or anything, like he always, like I'll send him a message and I'll just bug the hell out of him, and he would just always send me back what I want. But I haven't
You've
been
mentioned
really doing
no, no,
seminars.
no.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay because that's one of those. Not all wrestlers use that as their tools.
It is. I
Some
recommend
do,
it though.
some don't.
I really
Yeah.
recommend it because everybody is different. I'm like lucky enough where I don't care. I will like at a show. I'll be respectful and I'll walk out to like let's say if somebody's been like done this wrestling thing on a high level, I would just go ask him. If he turns me down, God bless him. All right. If he not,
Right.
all he can say is no. I didn't come
Right.
from Egypt just to be shy and like oh be in the corner. I was just coming and a lot of them gave me great advice. A lot of them great. And some advice you take and like all right maybe not now. You'll use it later. You know.
You've mentioned Matt Striker a few times,
Yes
and he
sir. Yeah.
seems to be a big part of your career at this
Yes
point.
sir. Yes sir.
I was asked to be a commentator, a heel commentator, which I was out of my element.
Okay.
So it really wasn't that good, to be honest. But and the guys in the area all knew me as Donkey K doing my
Donkey. Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when I was a heel trying to lift up the bad guys, and I'll give you a perfect example, Hamlet Hershu, I love that
Oh,
motherfucker.
love it.
I,
I love
I
that man.
just
Oh
that
man,
guy is just so
John.
in and out of the ring. Holy shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I stood up and I'm
Super
cheering
underrated.
for the bad guys and I'm trying to lift them up and I'm talking shit to my cohort who's sitting next to me with the headset on. And I'm getting shit on by him or Hershey because he thinks that I'm Don Kincaid being Don Kincaid. No, I was trying to be heel Kincaid as a commentator.
I like
Doing
that Hill
my,
Kincaid. I like
so
that
it
name.
happened to me more than once from some of the guys. And after the show, I go, I was trying to do my thing as a heel. They're like, what the fuck? And I go, well, this is the deal now.
Yes, sir.
So it was kind of confusing. So, which brings me to my point. Match Striker is the main event. Now, myself and my cohort have to interview the co-main event and the main event. Okay, whoever comes
Yes,
out, we're
sir.
gonna do both. Okay,
Yes,
interview
sir.
them as they come out and get the crowd kind of pumped up a little bit more than they already are.
Yes, sir.
So here comes Match Striker. The guy who came out before him was the good guy, the face. Okay, Matt Striker comes out as the heel, which I took as he was the heel. I started digging in on the crowd. Matt Striker turned around, looked at me, took the microphone, and started shitting on me and lifting up the crowd. And he got the crowd to join in and started digging on me verbally and saying, this crowd is beautiful and these people are this and this and that. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And he kind of,
Yeah.
and I'm saying to myself, motherfucker, you're supposed to be the heel. What just happened in my life? I don't know what just happened here. So I ran with it and I just took all the heat from Matt Striker and all the fans in the venue and I sucked it up.
So you're the biggest heel on the show, though.
Son of a bitch. Like, get that turned around. That is my only legit Matt Striker story, and I will never forget it because I absolutely love it.
Oh, I love it. I love that man. When he first walked in, like Leeson's, he was, because I can't really see that good without my glasses. And I was in the ring, and I think it was my first week, and he was just standing outside, and we're doing rolls, so we're just standing in the line. And then like one of my good buddies, Alexander Thorne, Chris, what's his name now? Nino Cruz. I call him Rico. That's his old Gleason's name. So he was standing. He kind of looked like an Arab. He's Puerto Rican. So like Matt Striker was making fun of him. Oh, you look like an Arab. Where are you from? And I told him from Egypt. I was like, oh, shit. And we saw. And I thought I still didn't know I was talking to him because I didn't have my glasses on. But he was so cool. And then like he got in the ring, it was like right in front. I was like, oh shit, that's Matt Striker. And like, and he started talking to me about like Egyptian presidents and all that stuff. And like, oh wow, like somebody I would just talk. And then like he actually taught me like the rolls and the hip tosses and stuff. And I was like, I think I was a week or two. And he was super nice. Then like
Wow.
he told me you're gonna be good like in 6 months. And he left. He came back after 6 months. He was like an asshole to me. Like whenever I asked him about something, he was just like, get a haircut and shave your face and then we'll talk. And I remember like Johnny always talks about like, hey man, you have to be pro. Whatever happens, you have to control it. Well, you can't just go out there and just scream and stuff. And I didn't know like he was doing all that stuff to test me. Because he was whenever I asked him for advice, he was just like, shave your head, do something. Got better gear. So he was shit, and I would just like take it. I was like, yes sir, okay. Yes sir. I'm Johnny teaches, cowboy teaches us to be as professional as you can. You calm down and all that stuff. So I did all right, yes sir. And then like I did my match, and and I told him, did you watch this? Like, no, no. So and then like he was talking to the other guys like behind me, like the match behind me, and he's, oh, you guys should have done this and this and this. And I was standing there like he saw me looking at them like listen to his advice. I was taking it in. I was like taking it, all right.
Oh,
Then I was watching another match, and I see a hand like grab me. All right, man, you need to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. I was like, oh shit, so he did watch it, but I didn't know. Like that's the old school of like teaching how are you gonna react when somebody. And
right.
right after that, that's when he asked one of my buddies to work with me. So I was like, oh shit, because I was supposed to work. I was supposed to have like I know they were grooming me to win my first championship, the lightweight championship, and he asked Big Al, one of the Gleason's buddy, to. He said, ask Ahmed if he wants to work with me. He's like, oh fuck yeah, I want to work, of course. But then I went and tell Johnny and just like, but we have you in the 4-way, and Johnny doesn't want to spill them, but a lot of people snitched to me already. They want to put the belt on me, you know. So in my head, I was like, oh, do I choose the belt, my first ever championship, or do I choose Master Striker? And in my head, I choose Master Striker. You could we have more time for belts later, you know. And I was just, but the experience with Master Striker, you're not gonna get just to feel him out in the ring and stuff. Then he came in and he actually got into the title match, so we became all together, and he taught me a lot. He taught me so much. And whenever I ask him a question, he is always there. He always answered me. I asked him a bunch of stupid questions, and he's always there. Always has the time, and he broke down how to. He'd send me like a long email and then like a long text about how to put a match together and how to react.
Nice.
So yeah, so a lot of love for him. And
Wow.
he's the one recommending me to Vampiro to do that thing, which at the end it didn't work out, but I gained a lot of experience. Just being in
Oh, yeah.
that environment of the TV environment, you know, and
Mhm.
flying with him, seeing how he reacts with people and how professional he is, you know.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot. I learned a lot from him. So a lot of
That's
love
some
for him.
great experiences in your young career, my man.
Yes,
Some
sir. Yes,
great,
sir.
great
Yeah, I'm a great.
experiences.
I'm a blessed man.
Yes,
I'm best
absolutely.
man.
We are working towards an hour and a half, and I know you don't do interviews, and I could talk to you for 17 hours straight,
I'm with you,
but we're
sir.
not we're not going to do that to either us or the fans. That would be horrible.
Yes, sir.
Um, if I don't talk about the sanctuary specifically, I would
Oh,
kick
sanctuary.
myself in the ass because
Sanctuary. I wanted to
I'm
get to
not
it. Too.
I'm not familiar with the sanctuary except online. I've never been there because it's a 3.5 hour drive for me personally.
Yes, sir.
I asked them through Messenger, could you move your facility about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours this way closer
Please,
towards
yeah,
the
I would love
east?
that, man.
That would be amazing. They said haha, but that was about it. So I don't think they're moving. The sanctuary is an old church, and I've spoken about the sanctuary.
Yes,
The
sir.
sanctuary is an old church turned into a stunt production slash
Yes,
wrestling venue, if you
yes,
will.
sir.
And holy shit
Oh
sticks
man,
is this just an amazing setup over
oh
there.
and everything. I love this place. Oh man, that's
You personally, and I'm not taking away from anybody else because I know I've seen some familiar faces that I know in my area that have gone through the sanctuary and have gotten some amazing pictures taken of them from the fine photographers over there. But you personally The pictures that come out of the sanctuary of Prince Ahmed with the headdress, without the headdress, with the championship, without the championship, it doesn't matter. I fucking pop at every single one because they just come out so amazing at the sanctuary, my man. Holy cow.
They make me look good. I'm not that good. They make me look great, and like they provide me everything. John Trousky, I love this man so much. He gave me so many opportunities, and he provides everybody with opportunities. If you show up to the sanctuary, he's gonna try to help you as much as he can. And with those pictures and the lighting and everything, he
Mhm.
gives you that. That's one of the reasons. And not yeah, it was one of the reasons. Like he helped me a little bit with TV for OVW quicker because working with Trousky, working with with Sanctuary, and having my trainer there, Cowboy, which is like a
Mhm.
father figure to me, being there make it a lot easier too. So if you want to be TV ready, if you want to be Sanctuary is your place.
Sanctuary is based out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so Hazelton, Pennsylvania.
And where again?
Hazelton, Pennsylvania.
Hazelton, yes, Hazelton, Pennsylvania. And they have something that's very well. The setting, the venue first
Yes,
is very unique. The production is quite unique. It's not like any
nothing's
other.
out there. Nothing like it out there.
And also there is one other point of uniqueness at the sanctuary, and that is they only have two ropes. I've spoken about this
Yes,
before.
sir.
They only have two ropes. It's the top rope, it's the middle rope, and the bottom one is eliminated, from what I am to understand and was told, for the videographers, the photographers. So when the footage that comes out of the sanctuary, it's not hampered by the bottom rope. And that is why they do not use a bottom rope. It's for
Yes,
the
sir.
footage and the media and stuff. So it comes out really nice and clean.
Yes, sir.
Going to the sanctuary
And
for
because
your
it's a high
first
ring,
time.
I'm sorry, because it's a high
Oh, no, go
ring
ahead.
too. So that's why they take the bottom ring. Because if they showed me pictures, well, with the bottom row, like half of the stuff you can't see because it's kind of a high ring, like it's almost like 6 feet. You like I have to jump to get on top, So that's why they take the bottom rope off.
And a lot of the angle is an upward
Yes,
angle,
up,
which
yeah,
makes it actually kind of uniqueness
yes,
itself
sir,
because everybody is usually flat on, if you
yes, sir,
will. Um, but the uniqueness of all of their production, the venue, and that bottom rope being not there, and I've asked, does that hamper your performance when you run the ropes for the very first time when you've gone to the sanctuary? Was it a little bit different? Did you have to get used to it at all?
For me personally, no, honestly, like because we back to Gleason's, like we were taught to just like adapt everything. Like so, there was a lot of workouts we just like if you hit the ropes, you're gonna get fucked up. So to me, like you work with what you got. So and I love it. It's part of the makes me. I love that actually not being a bottom up because it makes me think more. Like, oh, what could I come up with? How could I work around this
Hmm,
shit? Blah, blah, blah. So it really for me, I feel it's more an advantage actually, just to
okay.
you know.
Uh, are you currently still holding gold at the
Yes,
sanctuary?
I lost the world title, but I'm still the spotlight champion.
Okay. The Spotlight Championship. I've seen that. Is that like an intercontinental, or
Yeah,
how do they kind of utilize that?
yeah, it is the IC belt for the and
Okay.
for a long time because like Ace Austin was the world champion, so he had the belt and he was away for a long time. So I was kind of the champ of the place,
Right.
But it is
Uh,
the secondary.
they have a throne over there, and when the
Yeah,
talent gets pictures taken in that some bitch with all
yeah.
the lights and everything,
Oh,
oh,
it's beautiful.
guys,
It's
it's
beautiful
just simply amazing.
because
Everything that comes
he
out of the
does because
sanctuary.
he does like a ruler of the ring tournament, which is kind of like King of the Ring. So whoever wins gets on the throne. Which last year I won. So it's and I took those pictures. I because I saw Johnny Moran took those pictures. Like I'm so jealous. I gotta. I need those pictures. And then like once I made sure like Trust, could you bring me the chair, please? I was like, oh, absolutely, yeah.
Another one
Everything
of
is
those
amazing.
talents. Yeah, at the sanctuary, everything seems to be
Everything like,
absolutely
and
amazing.
they all trying to help. They're all trying to help you.
Mhm.
Everybody. If you don't go
I,
there and you fall, that's on you. Like they're trying every as much as they can. The ring is padded as hell. The outside's padded as hell. They're giving you all the keys in the world to make this shit work. If you
I,
don't really can, if you can't make it work, that's really on you.
mhm.
You know,
Johnny Moran's another one of those guys.
love that man too. Man.
Great look, professional,
Yes, sir.
has
100%.
professional gear. His in ring work speaks for itself. He
Yes,
can
sir.
talk.
He's a complete package. Yeah,
Yeah, he's got those tools running. Johnny Moran.
it
Don't,
should be booked a lot more, in my opinion. Yeah.
dude, he should be booked everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fucking Johnny Moran. He is a star for sure. Don't call him the man. Just Johnny Moran, not the
Gentlemen.
man. Johnny Moran. did Did you know when Johnny Moran when he had that thick ass red beard of
No,
his? He looked like
I saw
fucking
pictures later. I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't
holy
even recognize him.
shit. It's that, it's
Different
like he
person.
was fucking hiding from the FBI or some shit.
For real, he looked complete. I didn't
What,
recognize
like,
him. So. He
oh
had a
my
singlet and all.
god.
I was like, "What's going on?" That's not
Yeah,
the Moran I
who the
know.
fuck? Who the fuck is that? Is that like Grandpa Moran? What's going on
Yeah.
over there? uh, Ahmed, I know you have the scowl face because you're a bad guy in that ring, but you look like you are having some of the most fun out there in that ring with your opponent, with us, the fans, and just really taking all of what you're doing as a wrestler and just having an amazing amount of fun with this. Am I wrong on saying that?
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. It's always fun to me. It's always fun because I don't. As much as like the stupid shit I do, I always leave room for me to have fun, to interact and stuff. I feel like it translates well. Because if I'm just worried about okay, what's the next spot? What is it? I feel like it takes a lot of the fun away from it. But with me, I could just like go out there and see what the hell happens. I like to put myself in this situation where okay, I'm either gonna sink or swim. I mean, I did it with wrestling. I left dental school to be a wrestler, so I'm kind of used to just taking risks. And sometimes I fall flat on my face, but that's part of it.
I I've been trying to think of a title with our conversation up to now. My original title was going to be Masha Kills People. That's what I was going to call this episode. But I think I'm going to call it I Hate Scrambled Eggs. I think we're going to stick with
Yeah,
I
go
Hate
for
Scrambled Eggs.
it.
That could be it's a nice little unique title for this episode. Again, sir, I could keep going on and on.
Great.
You only have so much time. The fans are only going to listen for so long.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I mean, I have so much more that we could speak upon because this has been an amazing conversation. Just
Same
like
for
a
me.
couple
Thank you. Thank you
friends
so
hanging
much.
out.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I appreciate you so much because you always supported us, especially with me personally. Always supported me. Always, even before me like meeting me and stuff. You're always nice and sharing my stuff, which it really like to me. It really means a lot. So, like I said, and I love
Yes.
your work too. Like you don't realize about by interviewing all these people, you teach a lot of wrestlers stuff. Like you teach a lot of wrestlers what to do, what not to do. So you're actually helping all the young ones out there.
Well,
Like
I
if you really like,
appreciate those
yeah,
words.
all of these interviews, you've like, okay, somebody's learning something,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
you taught me a lot just watching your stuff. So thank you.
I would have never thought it that way. I always thought it was to learn about their backstory, learn where they trained, and all of that kind of that kind of stuff that fans usually want to know. I never looked at it from that perspective. That is very
Mm.
interesting. You just warmed my heart, my friend. You're gonna make me cry. Don't make me cry.
Wait for the next show. And I grab you and scream in your face. Then you could cry.
I hate scrambled eggs.
I have to go,
Oh,
Alex.
oh shit. That's a blast. Who the fuck ever would have thought that a fan would have asked you to scream, "I hate scrambled eggs" at any junction? I mean, that would have
Hopefully
never
that'll
happened.
become a regular thing though. So
uh, Prince Ahmed, you've been an absolute gem. You have given us so much information about yourself, your background, the people that surround you, your upcomings, and everything that is Prince Ahmed at this point. And I know there's more questions I could probably ask before we get out of here. But you know what? We've had such a fine conversation. I want to leave. Do you ever watch Seinfeld by chance?
a little bit, yeah, I watched a little bit.
Okay.
When I was
I
actually on
want
the
to leave
road a
on a
lot, they
okay.
were I was just on the hotels, they were just like they'd be playing Cypher like crazy. So I watched a little bit
Well,
from there.
I want to leave on a high note as like a George Costanza. We leave on a high on a high note with one Prince Ahmed. But before I do let you go, we got to get the fans some info. If you've got a Twitter, if you've got a face page, maybe a Pornhub, if you've got any of these social social medias, give us some details because we want to see footage. Yeah, maybe maybe not the Pornhub, but
Yeah.
we want to see
Nobody wants to
footage
say
and all of
that.
that stuff. So hit us with some details so we can find Prince Ahmed, please.
Yeah, so it's Prince Ahmed on Instagram, but like the Ahmed is kind of separate. So A dot H, because like there's a million Prince Ahmed on Instagram, so it's after each letter there's a dot. And on Twitter is at real Prince Ahmed, which I don't like doing like at real because like what the fuck am I to say at real? But that was the only thing that went through, and I did it as a joke. I real Prince Ahmed torture artist. It didn't go nah, real Prince Ahmed. It's like oh no, so I'm stuck with that. I promise you, I don't think of myself like that. On Facebook, I use by my real name, which is Ahmed Selakawi. But you can still write Prince Ahmed, and I'll pop up to you. And please give
And
Don Kincaid a follow. Give Fallout Shelter a follow. Give Sanctuary a follow. Give Battle Club, Gleason's, all these beautiful people that help
yes,
us and that I consider family, especially Battle Club, and because I work for them too. No, but they're my family. I love these guys. They give
boys,
me the world. This is such
boys
a
and
nice place.
girls, go back to some of the stuff that we've mentioned, the names of the talents, the names of the training facilities, the names of the trainers. Jot these things down if you're an aspiring wrestler. If you're a fan that's looking to see new promotions, new talent, and you haven't heard of some of these promotions, get on the old keyboard and check this stuff out because we don't want to keep seeing the same old stuff. That's why we bitch about some of the stuff that we see on TV. Get on the keyboard and check out some new stuff. Expand your horizons as a fan because we love wrestling. That's why we
Yes, sir.
watch.
Now, I promise you, if you ever watch anything of mine, you're gonna find at least one thing that you haven't seen before. At least that's what I try.
See, I already had a title. The innovative wrestler. That's what I was gonna call this. But there was no way because I'm not that serious, first off. So it had to be something a little off
Scrambled eggs. I
to the
love scrambled
left,
eggs.
if you
I'm
will.
like, if
Uh,
I come up with a new move, I'm gonna call that. I'm gonna call it scrambled eggs just for you.
well, thank you for all the info, all the stories, all the everything that you have given,
Thank you.
and your time, especially. We are at an hour, 37 minutes, and 18 seconds that we took of your time that you gave to us,
No,
the
thank you.
fans, and we
The
cannot
honor is
thank
all
you
mine.
enough, Prince Ahmed.
I would just hope it went well. Hopefully, people didn't get bored. Hope I didn't ramble on too much. Hope I
No,
didn't
not
like
at
look
all.
like I was trying to name drop a lot, which I kind of did though. Not gonna lie, I was kind of
Huh?
because I was proud of the stuff I did. It's like fuck, I don't do interviews that much, so might as well just shoot it
Yes.
out there. Especially with you, I love you and I appreciate you. So thank you so much.
Oh, the love right from the beginning, my friends. The love. That's what we talk about in the industry. Share that love
Yes, sir.
with
Especially with
everything
you, you
we've.
always share love with everybody. So thank you.
I try.
Yes, sir.
We say thin, fat, short, tall, skinny.
It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
It
Black,
doesn't matter.
white.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter. We share the love, my friend. I try to be Switzerland. I try to be Switzerland and share that love. uh, with everything that we've spoken about tonight, how can you not love our new friend, Prince Ahmed? Boys and girls, go check that stuff out. Look it up. Get to know the talent that we've spoken of and their promotions and everything that we have spoken of. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and our very, very special guest, because we had his cat with him. Our very, very special guest, one Prince Ahmed. Thank you one more time, my friend.
No, thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of fun for me. Thank you.